I really don't know where to start with this one. It's a bit of an oddball movie. It is The Singing Ringing Tree from 1957, another network movie. This cover did not inspire any kind of confidence whatsoever as I jumped into this German fairy tale movie. A very different experience altogether. Now I'm going to try and condense the plot as best I can. It has a lot of typical tropes of these kind of stories. It is a fairy tale story about a prince who travels a great deal of distance to this land where he wants to marry the princess, but the princess is one of the most obnoxious, stuck up people we've ever met, who has this air of just superiority about her, and she sends this poor man away, scattering his riches, demanding that he bring her the fabled singing ringing tree, of which he goes on a quest to find, travelling through the lands, discovering a kind of magical kingdom, and a malevolent dwarf who seems to be just filled with mischief and evil. And ultimately he gets the singing ring tree, but if the princess can't make it sing, he will be turned into a bear and have to live out his days in the magical kingdom. And the princess, being obnoxious, doesn't make the tree sing, and he ends up turned into a bear within the magical kingdom. And then the princess gets captured and taken to the magical kingdom and made to live her life there. But because she's such a horrible person, her whole demeanour starts to change, her appearance starts to change, and she starts to become that horrible person on the outside as much as she is on the inside. And she has to learn how to become a good person and work with nature and animals and the people around about her so that she can regain her good looks and become a more compassionate princess. Wow, I managed to do that pretty well, I think. Yeah, this is a crazy movie. It's done with a lot of backdrops and purpose-built sets. They're rather obviously fake. The backdrops feel as if they have this kind of magical nature because they're closing in within the set. They're obviously just painted backdrops. The bright and overly saturated colours are just wonderful to look at. You get these bright greens and blues and reds all popping up within the movie. It feels very artificial in the whole way it's created, and it adds to that sort of fairy tale aspect to the movie. There is this wonderfully weird addition of narration. Now this is in the German language. It's not dubbed at all. When you're watching it, they still speak in German, and you can put on subtitles and get what they're saying, but there's this wonderful addition of a narration, someone who's pretty much talking for everybody throughout the movie and just telling you what's going on.
I must have the singing ringing tree. Bring it to me, and then I will listen to you.
And at first it's a little bit daunting, a little bit off-putting. It's unnatural, it feels odd, but it becomes rather comforting throughout the movie watching this. I really enjoyed the kind of aspect of this narration that comes with it. It was rather intriguing because there's not a lot of dialogue in the movie itself. It just kind of gives a shorthand into everything that's going on. The special effects and the set and the creatures are all wonderfully abstract and weird, and you can only imagine discovering this in the late 60s, early 70s, and being blown away by this nightmare fuel that we have here in front of us. This is a very visceral movie, one that is really quite captivating, one that really wins you over. You know, when I'm sitting down to watch this, I'm thinking, yeah, it looks kind of silly, product of its time, has all these kind of tropes and familiarity. I don't like the princess. I think the prince who gets turned into a bear is rather naive in a lot of what he's doing. But ultimately, through the 72-minute runtime, by the time you get to the end of the movie, I'm with the characters. I'm with their situation. I'm glad to see them making changes in their life that are for the better. I'm glad to see them return to the normality and be happy together. It works its magic. it draws you into the characters, it draws you into this fairy tale world, which is very unusual but stunningly so, and it gives you some wonderfully interesting characters, some weird looking fish and bear creatures, a sense of unusual creation here, but one that won me over. A movie that I would not normally have ran out to see. I checked out and I really enjoyed this one. Let's dive into the disc and just have a look at a couple of the extras that this one has. So here we are into the disc menu of the Singing Ringing Tree. Now there's two versions on here. You get the widescreen version and you get the full screen version. And it should be said that the widescreen version is basically just a cropped version of the full screen one. I went with the full screen. I feel we get more of the image and more of that wonderful set design. We have Interview with a Princess, which is a 16-minute long extra. And it's an interview with Christelle Bodinson, who plays the princess within the show, and basically talking about the lasting effect of this movie. It was an interview that was done in 2003. Then we have a 40-minute image gallery with music suite. I seem to have a problem with my player. It's only showing one image on this, but the music is, well, it's quite soothing, to be fair. And then we have the audio selection. English, German, French, Spanish. Now, you can watch it with the German and the subtitles, or you can watch it with the English narration, which I think just adds to it. And yeah, then we have the subtitles. And that's the complete extras on this disc. So there we have it, the disc for the Singing Ringing Tree. Now, I did check out the image gallery on a different player and it worked perfectly fine. I was using it on a computer earlier on and it just wasn't great, but the images are there, the music's 40 minutes of that fantastic music that's in the movie is just wonderful. I think you should definitely check this out. I think it's a real oddity of a movie. The Singing Ringing Tree is one of those things that, unless you've heard of it, unless you know of this movie, it's not something that you're probably going to go and check out. But I think it's worth checking out. I really do think it's such a strange and unusual movie. You should definitely check out the trailer anyway, and hopefully I've made you a little bit curious about this one, and maybe search it out, check it out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.